Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube video of AWS tutorials. Now, in the last video, we have seen how to deploy and configure the CLB, which is the classic load balancer. Now, the second type that I can demonstrate here is the ALB, the application load balancer. Now, application load balancer, as we have seen in the slides, works on the application level. I mean, now you can have multiple applications on the same load balancer. Um, Now this works with the concept of target group. So you don't attach the EC2 instances directly to the application level load balancer. Now you have a target group. Inside that target group, you add the instances or services. You can call load balancer inside a load balancer. Uh, but I mean, you have to use target group here. Now you will have a health check by the target group also and by the ALB also. So you will have two types of health checks. Now all the configurations like the stickiness and all you will be doing inside the target group. We will look into that, but before that, in order to test this, I will have to create some instances, and I will create them in multiple regions, right? AZs basically, not regions. Regions I would remain the same as North Virginia. You can change your region, it's up to you. Let's go and what create some instances and launch them with the EC2 data. So I'll just launch the instance, and I will do one at a time. So this is my web server 1, okay, and I'll go for AWS, AMI, which is the Amazon Linux 2, and by default this is what I need. Kpair, I have one. This one I will select that. I don't basically need it, but just in case. So subnet, I will go, and so this is going to be US East 1B, okay, and this is the default VPC. I will not change the VPC. So this is the security group. So I will create a new one. Let's create an security group for the ALB, okay, because I will be adding that to the security group of my EC2 instances in order to secure it, so that it has only access through the ALB and not directly from the internet, right? So I'll say ALB SG, and on the ALB, what I need to allow is, let's say I will allow SSH, and I would allow what? I would allow a custom TCP, or I can do HTTP. Okay, HTTP on port 80, and I would say anywhere. Okay, so that is the network configuration. Then I have the storage. I would stick with the default, which is 8 GB, and I need the user data, right, to initialize the web services. So I'll go to my data, and I will copy the user data. So this is the user data that I'll be using, okay, and then I will just hit on launch the instance. Now that is one EC2 instance. Now I will go and launch another one. So this would be my EC2 instance 1 in North Virginia. If I just do this, yeah, I have this. Now I'll launch another one. Let's say this is my web server 2, server 2. This is AMI this, and I'll keep the default. I will go for the keypair ZP keypair. Okay, let's edit this. Now VPC is this. Okay, I have to select the uh, SSHTP. This is for the EC2 instance, remember? So I will change it in the first instance. Even though I've created that for ALB, but I'll be using that with the ALB, not with the EC2 instance. Okay, so T2 micro. Okay, for this I will use a different AZ. So let me go with US. So I did the first one, I think, in 1C. Now I'll use 1A. Okay, and advanced. And I'll go and paste the user data here. Okay, so launch an instance. Now I have two instances on my background running, right? So I can go to the EC2 window, and I can also now I can go to the load balancer, also target group. So you have two options. Now I will go show you the both. So let's see about the web servers that are here, and this is initializing right now. If you see running, but the status checks are still not completed, so it will take some time, and also it will take some time for the services to be enabled. So once this is initialized, they should work right now. Yeah, so this is up good. Now what about the web server 2? um, Web server 2, it's taking some time. It's running. Okay, let's move on to this and hit this server, but the web services are not initialized yet on the server 2. Uh, okay, okay. Let it be like this. It will be initialized, right? So now we have to go to the load balancer. Remember, I went to the inside the EC2 itself. There is a load balancing option, and you click on the load balancer. Now I'm inside the load balancer. I'll click on create, just like we did for classic load balancer. Now in this case, I will go for application load balancer. So you can click on the info to know more about the load balancer, the application load balancer. Okay, how it works. You have a bit of diagram here. A hits the ALB and goes to the service. Basically, if it's an EC2 instance, if or any other service like Lambda and etc. Right? So I can just click on create here for the ALB. Now you have to name this. So I'll say ALB demo, right? So this is going to be an internet facing, not an internal. I will be using IPv4 on this, and this is my default VPC. So I don't have any other VPCs right now. And this is where you deploy this multi AZ. So I want this to be, if you check my AZs, this is 1B, 1A. So you need to know where your EC2 instances are. So I can do it like this. And also I don't have issues with the subnet because I'm going with the default, but you need to um, know the subnets where your EC2 instances are placed, right? So these are the two instances that I will be working with. I mean the AZs, not the instances, sorry. And inside those AZs, I have my instances, right? Now here you select the security group. So I will select the ALB security group here and close this one, right? And this is the listening. So you would have a listener on the public side of it. So I'll be listening on port 80. Now you can add multiple listeners here, but I will use only port 80. If you have a custom one, you can add it here. Now this is for the global accelerator, which is part of the CDN. We will not discuss it now. This is just a summary of what you did and create the load balancer now. Okay. Now, oh, yeah, I actually forgot the most important part, which is the target group. Now, to create a target group, as I said, in the classic load balancer, you directly attach the instances, but here you didn't see any option. So you do it using the target group. Now we don't have a target group. Either you can go directly to the target groups here, or from here itself you can create a target group like this. It will again take you the same, take you to the same, I mean, basically same portal, but then if you click on create group, it is the same thing, right? So it's up to you if you want to go and create the target group proactively, and you can use the target group into multiple load balances. Okay, so let's go and let me just refresh. This should be up by now, the services. Okay, okay. I know what is the issue. So for this one, it's the old security group. If you remember, if I go to my security group here, I need to allow this because it's allowing only the traffic from the classic load balancer. Remember this security group. So if I go here and go to the security group, let me just modify that, and we can see the difference again if you didn't get it the last time, right? So this is my security group. The security group that I'm using here is the on the second one. Where's the oh, this one, target group, and this is the security group. This is my web server. This is my load balancer. This is my security group. So what I used here was the, I think the this one. So if you go here and you check on the inbound rule, it is, if you select on the edit inbound, it is using only the SG from the CLB. So I'll select this and say IPv4 anywhere and save rule. You may, okay, I need to add a rule. Okay, I'll say let's say HTTP, and I will say from anywhere, and I will delete this, and also I will add SSH in case if you want, right? SSH from anywhere like this, right? So this is what I will do to the existing rule. Now after this should work. Now if I go and refresh, now this is working, right? Now later on what we will do is, let me change the security group on the instance one as well. So how you do it, you go and select the instance, then you go to the action, then you go to the security settings, then you change the security group. As of now I'm using ALBSG, which I should be using with the ALB only. I'll remove this, and I should have the SG, this one I will use and save it. Okay, you need at least, I have already selected, right? Okay, I need to add, save it. Oh, sorry. So now if I go here just to check it once if it's working. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so we are in the target group now. Now I click here, and I was redirected on this portal of the target group. Now target groups can have all these targets inside them, right? You can have instance called inside the target, you can have IP addresses. So if you have some on-premise servers, you can call them here with IP address, but those IP addresses should be public, or maybe you are doing it through a through a VPC connection, right? Those are advanced concepts you will see, but just remember, if you have your own premise hardware as well, servers as well, you can do the load balancing through the target group using the IP address command. And you can have Lambda functions, you can have application load balancers inside application load balancers. So okay, so you can do that also. So let's name this target group. So this will be my ALBTG. Yeah, and the target group is port 80. I'm using 80 right now, and the protocol version can be HTTP1 or HTTP2. I'll be keeping the default. Now health check. So this is we are inside the target group right now, and I'm doing a health check from the target group to the server. Now this is if you keep it like this, it is equivalent to doing this. So you make sure you have the HTML file inside your machine, right? The server, and I already have it, so I'll just keep it default. And you can have some advanced health checks that you want to, if you want to do some change of the settings, but this is the default. I will go with the default, and then I can click on the next option here. So now this step is basically an optional step, and this has been added recently. So what here you can do is you can type in the IP address of the private IP addresses of your EC2 instances. For example, so I go to web server 1, I'll copy this IP. This is the public, sorry, the private IP, and I go to the target groups and I paste it here. And then I can go to add IPv4. I can have 1, 2, right? This is 1. Then I can say, now below you can see the targets. Now I can click on include as pending, it will come here, and then I can click on create target. And then or else if you don't want to do this, you can separately once you create the target groups, then you can register the targets based on the instance ID as well. So I'll do one like this and one like the old method. Okay, now I've created this ALB TG. Now I can, in order to change the settings and all, I can click here, or I can check on the box, and I can go to the targets. And now here I can see only one target. Now I can register more targets. If I click on register more targets, then I can again go and type in the IP address of the second target, which is the second web server, which is 172.31.33.192, right? So this one I can add and paste it like this, and I can say include as pending and register pending targets like this. Now the TG itself is going to do the health check, and if you go and see on here with the health check, now it's the setting. Now if I go to targets, you can see the target is not configured, because right now we have just configured the target groups, and we have not actually created the load balancer. So remember, I have to go to the load balancer now. Here here is where we left right now, and I have to refresh once, so that I will get the new ALB here, TG here. I can select the TG, and now I can go and create the load. Now you can have multiple listeners with the different target groups. So this is the flexibility that you get as compared to the CLB. Now we can click on create load balancer. Now I can click on the view load balancer. Let this get initialized. Now it's in the state of provisioning. We will wait. We will have to wait for the ALB to go into active state. And this is the target group. Now you want to change, I mean, attributes you can change from here. So you can go here. Now you want to enable the stickiness, you can do it. You want to change the type of load balancing, which is by default round robin. Now you can have weighted and all those load balancings here, right? Least outstanding, you can have stickiness enabled. Yeah, so these are the options that you want. You can do it from here, right? So I can just go and cancel. So I will stick with the round robin method. I can go here and let's wait for this to complete. Now we have seen directly the web services are running from the IP address of my public IP address of my EC2 instances. Now let's go to the load balancer. This is my ALB demo. Refresh it. It's still provisioning. We have to wait for some time so that this gets into the active state, and then we can copy the DNS name of my ALB and then go on and do the provisioning. I mean, do the testing, right? And then we can modify the security group so that only the traffic from the ALB DNS can be allowed and not directly from the public IP addresses of the EC2 instance. So let's go here. Let's wait for this. Still, the state is in provisioning, but now I had some issue with my previous recording, so I had to go on and create new instances. So you might see the IP address is different now when I do the load balancing. So if I go to the new IP address, this is this one. And let's go to the second one, which is this one. And paste it here. So these two should work. So yeah, so these two are working now perfectly fine. Now you will see the IP is different because I had to change the EC2 instances because of some reason. I mean, some problem in the last recording, but I mean, it would be same for you. So you just have to follow this, right? So I will go to the load balancer here, still provisioning, but I want to explain to you some other features. So here is the description. You will see if you want to change the IP address type, you can change it from here. You can have a dual stack. Right now it's IPv4. You can have a dual stack. You can see that I mean, easy that this load balancer is participating in. And if you want to edit the subnets also, you can add more AZs as well. Okay, so that is possible after the creation as well. Now this is the security group that this ALB is having, and other attributes which are the I mean, the WAF, which is disabled, and the protocol HTTP2 enabled, and you can edit the attributes as well here. Okay, I'll just cancel this here. And the next tab is listeners. So you can have multiple listeners even after the creation. So you can add a new listener here. Okay, you can do this while creating as well as after the creation. Now there's an important option which is view and edit rule. This is the major difference and that could that you can see between the classic and the application level load balancer, right? You have rules. You can go and add new rules here. So you can say insert a rule, and you can have a condition. So for example, you can have a path. So so if a user comes to the DNS with a path, say index.html, okay, which I am doing by default, then what you need to do, you can forward this to a different TG. Now I'm not created any TGs apart from the ALB TG, but you can have multiple TGs. So you see the power, right? Depending on the path of the website, you can redirect the traffic to particular TG or application. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to understand inside the application load balancer. Let me go back to this. Then this is the I mean, CloudWatch integration with your ALB. So you will be seeing the traffic monitoring analytics through CloudWatch. You can click here and go to the actual CloudWatch portal to see the monitoring and all. from here, but we will cover this in depth in the CloudWatch itself. And then you have the integrated services, what all services you can integrate with the application load balancer provided by the AWS. So this is one of the reasons why you can opt for the AWS ALB instead of going for the third-party vendor, right? And then the tags. Okay. So now if I check the status, it is showing as active. Okay. So I'll click on the DNS name of my ALB. I'll go here and paste it here. Now it should have a default load balancing mechanism, which is going to be round robin. Now I can see this is getting switched from one to the second based on the sequence, right? So I can see one for 82.1, one for 35.155. So this is doing the round robin. Now you can change this um, behavior from the TG. Now you don't have to go to the load balancer, you have to go to the TG now. Now if you go into the TG and see the details here, you have the details, which is what type of TG it is. It's based on the target is instance, and the port is listening to this, and the protocol version is using HTTP1. Then you have the targets. These two targets are added. You can add multiple more targets if you want to click on the register. Then the monitoring, which is again facilitated by your CloudWatch. Okay, this is monitoring your TG, and then health checks. You can see the settings that you have done on the health checks. Now success code 200 is by default. You want to change, you can change it to some other settings, right? Now attributes, if you see, you can see here the two options that I want to talk about. It's one is round robin, one is stickiness. So if you want to enable stickiness, you can go here and check out stickiness and also the duration of the stickiness. Now you want to do the stickiness based on the load balancer generated cookie or the application based generated cookie, right? So that is two options. Then for this target group type, which is the instance, you have only two methods, load balancing algorithms. One is the round robin and the second is the least outstanding request, right? So these two are there. If you want to change, you can do it, and I will say cancel for now. I'll keep the default. And now you can see, right, the whole I mean procedure of how you create the application load balancer, how you create the TG. You call the TG inside the ALB, and inside the TG you attach and register the actual instances, and also how it does the health checks, how you do the load balancing, and even if you want to change the load balancing or enable stickiness, now you have to go to the target group itself. Now one more thing that I want to talk about is the is this issue where I can access the HTTP services directly on the server, even though I can access it from the ALB. But if you want to disable this, you have to basically go on and change the security group. So for the security group of the EC2 instances, you have to allow only traffic from the ALB. So for that, for example, I'm using this one as the security group on my EC2 instance. So you need to have separate SGs then, okay? So if I go here and if I see my inbound rules, I see that I'm allowing from anywhere, right? This one. So for the HTTP, what I can do is I can say this as just the ALBSG. So it will not allow me. I have to create a new one, add rule, and let's say HTTP and custom, and then I will do the ALBSG. Now for SSH, I want to allow from outside. So I want to individually SSH to my EC2 instance. Just one of the requirements as an example. Okay. So now I've done this. Now this should fail. Both of this should fail, and this should still work. Okay. This is still working fine. So that is the whole idea. We did this in the last lecture as well, but if you don't understood it, just to show you, right? So after you have done every lab and all, just remember to delete all your instances and the services that you were practicing upon, right? Now target groups will not create any issues, but yeah, obviously you have to delete the registered targets, right? So you can say deregister. Even if you want to delete the target group, you can go here and delete it. And also remember to so you have a listener which is on your load balancer. So if I go to here, let's see, on the load balancer, what I can do is I can go and delete the load balancer itself. But if you want to delete just the TG, for example, you go to the load balance listener here and delete the listener. Then after deleting the listener, now you can go and delete the TG. Okay, now TG is gone. If you go here, now TG will not be there. No TGs, right? Now I can go to the ALB in action and delete the ALB. Okay, and then after that I can go on and I can delete the EC2 instances, or I can say actual word is to terminate them. So I terminated the last two. I can go action, sorry, instance state, and terminate both of them. Okay, that's it. I mean, this is how you will keep your bills low. And yeah, that's all for this video. Stay connected and hope you like this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and share my content as much as possible. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye bye.